Hi, I'm Demi George. I'm from South Africa, the beautiful South Africa. I am a 26-year-old colored girl living and working in South Korea in Asia. I am an English teacher. And yeah, I basically just started making content showing my people the opportunities out here. And yeah, I think that's me in a nutshell.
Great. So, George, before we start with our conversation, I want to use this moment to thank our viewers. We appreciate your support. And if you are new here, kindly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell notification icon to always get an update from us whenever we upload a new video. So let's start with our conversation. So, George, many will love to come to Africa. So, I want you to tell them something about our continent.
About Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
about Africa.
So, what I can say about Africa is that we are rich in culture, in resources, in beauty, in everything.
And about your home country, South Africa.
And about South Africa,
Yeah.
I honestly am obsessed with my country, especially since I've moved abroad. My patriotism to South Africa has gotten stronger. I think we have amazing mixes of cultures, people, languages, foods, flavors. Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful country, full of good people. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Great. So you were talking about nice cultures. So tell us something about your culture.
South African cultures. Okay, so there are like cultures and then there are subcultures.
Okay.
So we have 11 official languages.
Okay.
And all these languages come from different indigenous like cultures. So there's Zulu, Xhosa, Venda, Sepedi, Sesotho. Like it's all these languages, and it's all indigenous to like a certain region of South Africa.
Okay.
But the region I'm from is the Eastern Cape, and that is where they speak isiXhosa. That is where the Xhosa people come from. So every culture has like different attire, different wedding cultures,
Okay.
initiation cultures. Um, yeah, it's a big melting pot of cultures. And as far as me, I'm colored, so like we now kind of have our own culture um, that developed from all the different cultures. That's now their own culture. But yeah, I don't think there's much I can say just because I'm colored, so we don't have like an indigenous root in culture, so I can't really speak much on other cultures.
Great. So tell us about food too, because I think you also spoke about food.
Okay, so it honestly depends on what you want. So we have good Indian food. We actually have a very big Indian population. So
Okay.
the curries, the naans, all of that. That is, I'm a sucker for a good curry. Then it's something called a Gatsby. I think if you go to South Africa, you have to try a Gatsby. It
Okay.
is a big loaf of bread, well, a bun, and it's full of meat, fries,
Wow.
lettuce, tomatoes. Basically, everything that's on a burger is on this big piece of bread, and it's delicious. It's very messy, but it's delicious.
Wow.
And then also, you have to try pap and braai. Braai is basically our barbecue, and people normally have it with pap. It's delicious. So yeah, I think definitely braai, Gatsby, curry. Those are the foods you have to try.
Wow. Great. So why South Korea? Because we have other options like Ghana, China, UK, Australia, Rwanda, Benin. Why South Korea?
Basically, it was between South Korea and China. But the process of coming to South Korea seemed smoother for me. You just had to have your degree, get your documents, send it to your school, and then get your job.
Okay.
Also, there were a bunch of Facebook groups that I joined,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, all the South Africans were in there talking and comparing. And from what I saw, people enjoyed South Korea more.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I also watched a few YouTubers. They looked really happy. And I think just the media I was consuming about expats, South African expats, were more South Korean. So that's why I chose Korea over China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at some of the struggles that one may face or you faced when you moved to another country.
So the one thing that I struggled with the most was being away from my family. My mother and my sister is everything to me, and being away from them was really difficult. So that was something I struggled with in the beginning. A lot of people struggle with it. I've heard stories of people going home after 3 months, just because you are never prepared for how lonely you are going to get. Um, and then also the language barrier. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you think that you'll be able to get by with a translator app or whatever,
Yeah.
but there are moments when you are in a high stress situation and you need help with something, or you're lost and no one understands you. No
Mm-hmm.
one, and it's like they're too afraid to help you because they don't wanna misunderstand you. So yeah, the language barrier and missing home, missing
Wow.
home. Yeah, those are some challenges
Mm-hmm.
that I feel a lot of us face.
So, what about food and culture?
No, I actually love Korean food. Um, yeah, I have like some dishes that now became my comfort food. Like, I absolutely love Korean food. I think it's because South African food is spicy. Korean food is like a different type of spicy. But because I already loved spicy food and flavorful food, um, when I came to South Korea, I didn't have a hard time adjusting at all. I think I liked everything I ate that first week I was here. So yeah.
Great.
Mm.
So, now let's look at some of the surprising moments.
Surprising
Yeah.
moments.
Surprising moments.
Wow. I think the safety, some moments where the safety just took me by surprise. I once left my bag on a bus. So I was traveling and I forgot my bag on the bus when I get off.
Mm-hmm.
And the bus was going to another city. And I contacted the people, and in 3 days my bag was delivered to my house
Wow.
with everything inside it,
Wow.
literally.
Wow.
um yeah, a negative thing that surprised me that I still can't get used to is how people spit. So I don't know why this is a thing, or maybe it was never a thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
But walking in the street or going to the subway, people spit, and like you hear them spit in public, and in my mind, I'm just like, oh,
Wait. You mean spitting?
yeah, spitting, and you hear it in the throat. Mm,
Oops. Wow.
yeah.
I see. So now let's look at life in Korea. How is life in South Korea?
Mm-hmm. So there's definitely negatives and positives. I think the positives outweigh the negatives. But life in Korea is comfortable, number one. It's convenient. It's safe, which is which is something that a lot of African people are not used to. The safety,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very clean. I think, yeah, you can see where the government uses the tax money here. Like, it's used in the right way. But it's very comfortable, it's very convenient. Traveling in Korea is very cheap, it's very nice. The
Okay.
public transport is amazing.
Wow.
There are convenience stores on every corner that sell everything you need. So yeah, it's just comfortable and convenient and safe. It makes life less stressful. Because when you leave your house, you can be rest assured that you'll come back safely, which especially in South Africa is not a reality for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, life in Korea for that purpose is amazing. But then life in Korea can also become lonely just because, yeah, you're away from your family and you can't necessarily call everyone your friend. You meet people, but you can't really rely on anyone or open up fully to people. So just the sense of comfort you get from being home is not here. And you have to do everything by yourself. If you're sick, you are alone. You go to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital alone. You do everything alone. Um, but yeah, so it's good and bad.
Great. So tell us, what are some of the nice places for expats and foreigners to visit in South Korea?
Okay, so most tourists, when they come to Korea, they'll go to Seoul or Busan. Those are beautiful places. But since living here, I went to this one little small beach town called Yangyang. It is so beautiful. It feels like Miami vibes.
Wow.
And you also see like Korean people relaxing because I feel like Korean people are very conservative. And when I visited there, everyone was just relaxed. It was in the summer. And then in the winter, definitely the ski resorts are
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This past winter, I went to the ski resort where the Winter Olympics were hosted.
Mm-hmm.
That was an experience. So I think when you're finished seeing the major cities, go to the smaller cities. That's where you'll see Korea for what it is.
Okay,
Mm.
great. So now let's look at the cost of living between South Korea and your home country, which is South Africa. Do you have anything to say on that?
Okay, so the cost of living is higher than in South Africa, in
Oh, okay.
Africa.
Okay.
But also you your salary balances it out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Cost of living is okay. Rent is extremely high, but
Wow.
as an English teacher, your school does provide you with accommodation, so that's fine. Food, okay, so it's actually cheaper to eat out at the restaurant than to cook at home in South Korea because food is so expensive, especially fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The price of fruits and vegetables shook me to my core.
Whoops.
It's so expensive. Like for the price of
Mm-hmm.
for the price of a train ticket to another city, I can buy four apples.
Wow. Four
Yeah.
apples.
So I can choose between buying four apples or going to a whole other city.
Whoa.
That's how expensive fruit is. So
Wow.
most South Africans in South Korea don't buy fruit. We'll eat fruit at school or we'll buy fruit when it's on sale, but fruit is a luxury in South Korea.
I see.
But yeah, travel.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fruit is very expensive, but travel and activities is very cheap, and you can do it easily. But yeah, rent and fruit and vegetables that will kill you. Yeah.
Wow. Great. I think I saw this post on social media the last time. There was this guy who was talking about traveling with not enough cash. Like I mean traveling with no money. And you could see under his post people were commenting that there is no way you can ever say you are traveling with not enough cash or even with no money. How is this possible? Because I was thinking of it. How is it possible?
So basically, I think
Mm-hmm.
the guy was speaking maybe about people who don't have much
Mm-hmm.
money to come.
Okay.
It is definitely possible. I do know people who have come with no money, and because your school gives you accommodation, you can like live off noodles for that first few weeks until you get paid. But
Mm-hmm.
people have done it out of desperation for better opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I would say be prepared. Anything can happen. So save money.
Okay.
And when you do come, don't be surprised or compelled to buy things, or because you're in a new country. You have time to buy things, and for that first month, just save. You never know what can happen. Your school might be a bad experience and you need to go home. So at least have enough to get a plane ticket home. And yeah, just be prepared for that, because honestly, it looks like roses and rainbows, but you never know what you're walking into. So me personally, when I came, I made sure I had enough money to get me through the first month,
Okay.
and I had a savings account with a plane ticket home. I had enough for a plane ticket home.
Wow.
But yeah, definitely save if you can. If you can't, by all means, come.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially being an African and especially a South African, we are here for one another. Come, um, and take the risk. If there's honestly nothing for you back home, take the risk and things will work out.
Great. And from what you are saying, let's dive into some of the financial challenges that many travelers faced whenever they travel. Oh, what are some of them?
Yeah, definitely. Saving is a big challenge, hey? It also depends on your lifestyle. Some people love a more extravagant lifestyle than others. If you limit how much you go out, how much you travel, you can save an substantial amount. But then other people like nice things, they go shopping, they travel. So then it will be difficult to save. So saving can be a challenge. You have to be disciplined. And then also utility bills. Because in South Korea, there is gas and electric. And sometimes those bills spike up and you have to cough up that money. So
Okay.
yeah. Some of the financial challenges would definitely be saving and like making your salary stretch and work for you. I feel is a skill that takes a few months to get right while you're in another country, because you still have to get used to the bills. You have to get used to how much you spend on groceries, not buying too much, not buying too little. So I think just overall adjusting
Okay.
to your financial situation.
Okay.
I think another challenge that not a lot of people speak about is making more money than what you're used to, and then feeling that you can now overspend because you've never been paid this much money. And that you can shoot yourself in the foot with that, because you need to have a balance. So
Okay.
I feel a financial challenge for many people is just the shock of, oh, I have this much money in my account, or oh, I have access to this much money every month. And then you kind of go overboard and forget your priorities. Yeah. So I think keep your priorities in order and you'll be fine.
Wow, such a good advice. Wow, nice one, nice one, nice one. Now, let me sit down well to ask you this question. Okay, how is it true that South Korean men likes to marry or date African ladies, especially with black skin? How true is this? Because we've been hearing it in the news.
Mm.
You see, like I was saying, we've been hearing in the news that South Korean men likes to
Mm.
marry or date most of African women. How true is this?
So I think since more Africans are coming to South Korea, interracial relationships are now becoming more common. I know a few African ladies who have married Korean men,
Okay.
and it's definitely becoming a thing now. However, some Korean guys do fetishize being with African women.
Okay.
So they'll take advantage of the African woman's fantasy of Korean men and kind of just hook up with them just for the experience of being with a black woman. So you definitely have to be wary of that. But there are some success stories of people actually getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, the dating culture though is very different. I think it can be overwhelming for African people just because it moves very fast. Korean relationships moves very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
one date, two dates, I love you. We in a relationship. So
Wow, I see. I see.
it's very
Mm-hmm.
fast. And
Okay.
I think you have to have strong nerves. Yeah, to dip your toe in the dating pool in South Korea.
Wow.
But yeah, definitely it is the thing. The interracial relationships work, but also beware of those cute Korean boys who just want to hook up with you because you're African. So yeah.
Nice one. So talking about relationship now, as in dating, have you noticed any cultural relationship difference between your home country and South Korea? Are they some cultural differences?
Okay, so in South Africa, dating is very okay. So the number one thing that's different
Okay, I'm
the
listening.
number one thing that's different about dating that I've noticed is the gift giving culture. So in South Africa, you'll go on a first date, sometimes you'll get roses or you know. But in Korea, like if you go on a first date, you like getting a gift or you're getting
Mm-hmm.
something. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like the gift giving thing is a big deal.
Okay.
Also, in my experience, I feel like the dating culture in South Korea is just very fast. It's fast. I don't know how to explain it properly, but it's like people go on one date, two dates, and then they are in a full on relationship. And
Okay.
me personally, I don't know how that could be possible. Just because you need a
Mm-hmm.
bit of time, to get to know one another.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas in South Africa, you do get that time to get to know one another and, you know. But also in South Korea, people genuinely do want to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in South Africa, there are a lot of games going on. So, yeah, that's the difference.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, another one also in Africa, the men are the choices,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
in my experience, men like to pursue women, and
Mm-hmm.
as a woman you don't really need to do much. The man will kind of take charge, whereas in yeah, it's more of, well, what do you want to do, or so the guys are more laid back, which is not something me as a South African woman can get used to. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Great. Now this is a question that most people have been waiting for. Um, okay. Let me ask you, which country has the most handsome men? I hope you are not going to be biased though. Which country is known for its handsome men?
um South Africa is beautiful people. I'm so sorry, but this is the reality of life. We are like a big mixed masala, so we have a lot of beautiful people. But I must say, um, this is just me and my preference. I prefer African men, dark men.
Mm-hmm.
So Congolese men eat, they
Wow.
eat. Um, Tanzanian men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, I think Congolese and Tanzanian.
Wow.
Yeah, alongside South Africans. I'm not shaming my South African brothers, but
You've
I
done well.
will.
You've done well. You've done well. You've done well. You've really done well. So what about Ghana? Because we are also handsome. So what about Ghana?
Oh yeah. Mm. I actually spoke to a guy from Ghana,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and yeah, very polite, very
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Nice one. So tell us about your home country. What are some of the nice places to visit in South Africa?
Okay, so most people go to Cape Town. Everyone knows Cape Town. Me personally, I feel like it's, yeah, everyone goes there. the smaller cities outside of Cape Town is so beautiful. I think to visit the vineyards in the Western Cape, like Stellenbosch, like all those beautiful vineyards. There is a wine train that you can get on that takes you along all the vineyards and you can go wine tasting. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then also our nature reserves and game parks. You can go on a safari, drive.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very affordable. You can go and see our wildlife. On our beaches, you can see our penguins and our seals. So yeah, I think the small cities along the coastline is where you will find the gems, the restaurants, the good food, the good sights.
Okay.
Yeah, is along the coast of South Africa in the western to eastern Cape. Yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Mm-hmm. With the safaris and everything.
There's safaris all over South Africa. But the for me, in my experience, the nicer parts is along the coast. But I could be biased because I grew up by the ocean, so that's what I recommend. That's what I recommend.
I get it.
Yes.
So we are almost done with our interview. Any advice for anyone who wants to travel abroad?
I think if you want to travel here, study up on the culture. There are a lot of things that you might consider normal that might be disrespectful. So study up on the culture. Learn small phrases like hello, where's the bathroom, things like that will make your life easier. Um, yeah, learn about the culture a little bit before coming, just so you know that you'll be safe and respectful and you won't get into any altercations that will result in you being sent back home. If you are planning to move to South
Mm-hmm.
Korea, I think the number one thing you need to prepare for is being alone, being hyper independent because you will have only yourself to count on. Learn to read the language.
Okay.
That is something that saved me. I taught myself to read the language before I came, and that helped me a lot with reading road signs and directions. So do
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, Remember why you are moving abroad. When you get here, it might be overwhelming. Life might swallow you, or you might be swallowed by the fastness or the hype and excitement.
Mm-hmm.
But remember why you are here. Remember why you came. Keep your priorities in order. Stay guarded. Stay guarded. Do not open up easily to anyone.
Okay.
Because coming to a new country, you might think, oh, we're all here, we have good hearts, we
Mm-hmm.
all are good people, but there are bad people everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
people would want to hurt you everywhere in the world. So stay guarded at all times,
Okay.
be selective with who you trust.
Okay.
Everyone is not your friend, um, and stay true to who you are. Like, obviously, change, grow, learn, but stay true to who you are.
Okay. So any shout outs to your family, friends, and you can also give out your social media handles if only you are okay to do so.
Okay. Shout outs would definitely be to my mother. She is an absolute rock star. She raised me by herself. And I have to give all praises to her. I am where I am today because of her. And then my sister, oh, yeah, my sister, I love her so much. I love you guys so much. My close friends, they know
Mm-hmm.
exactly who they are. Yeah, and then above all, to God, I wouldn't be anywhere without God. I
Mm-hmm.
would not be anywhere in life without the guidance of God.
Yeah, that is right.
So yeah, that's my biggest shout out is to God. And then my socials, my darlings, if you are here from TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
can I show my socials?
Oh yeah, yeah, you can, you can.
So my TikTok, my TikTok is Cheeky D. And then my Instagram is OKD. So this is my TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Tricky D, and then this is my Instagram. Okay, D.
Nice one.
Yeah, those are my socials. Give your girl a follow. Say hi.